Hey everyone, Dogmatic71 here, and welcome to Dogmatic DIY. Today, we're going to make a wood wall art, so a farmhouse rustic wood wall art sign. And we're going to use old fence boards, and the outer frame is just going to be like a 1x4 pine. You can get it at your store. And then you can order the letters. You don't even need the letters. It looks good. You'll be able to see it. It looks great even without the letters, but you can get the letters if you know somebody with a Cricut, or if you are one of those machines, cutting machines like that, or you can order them on Amazon. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to make it. So let's get started. All right, so this week what I'm working on is what do you want to call it? Wood art, decorative, like farmhouse wood art. So created kind of an 1.5-inch border. Overall, it's 24 by 36. Let me try to prop this up for you. I haven't glued it down yet, so I gotta watch it. I just was cutting the pieces yesterday, so it's 24 wide here by 36 long here, and that's inches. And what I did is, this is just old fence boards. You can see the weather look. So I cut them in different thicknesses. So I have 4-inch, 3-inch, 2-inch pieces that all randomly cut in different lengths as well. I got like 18-inch, 12-inch, 6-inch, and then 4-inch slices as well. So what I'll do, I'm gonna take these out, and then I'm gonna glue the backing. What I did is, you can see, I'll take this apart here, if I can get this out. There we go. Is I nailed 1/4-inch plywood, just the rough stuff. I didn't need anything big, to the backing, and then I nailed it to the back of the frame. Not only does that help, it strengthens it, but now I got something to put these wood pieces on and glue them to. And what I probably will do is I'll put a couple brad nails in each piece, just to make sure, because some of them, over time, being outside, they've warped and are misshapen. So, and that's what I like about it too. The widths are a little off. So it looks like it's an old rustic piece, because it is technically an old rustic piece. All the wood's been out on my fence for years, and I just replaced a bunch of them. So I kept the wood and just cut them up. So I put a little quick black stain in the back, just so you can't see anything between the cracks. If I did have some gaps right here, like the little gaps, that you won't see it be like a white or a light in the background, in case you did. So just a quick little paint on there, a little stain, and rubbed it on and off real quick. And then what I'll do is sand it down, and then kind of pick different stains and different I wouldn't say colors, because I'm going to do maybe a little bit of black, a little bit of white. I might put one accent color in here and a couple of pieces. I believe my wife is interested possibly in having like a blue accent or anything like that. All right, so I just did the first round of sanding. This is an 80 grit. So first I did the electric. I used my electric sander first with the 80 grit. Sometimes it's hard to get in some of the groove areas because of how different the widths are. So I just used my little hand one as well afterwards. But I didn't want to try to take too much off. It is pretty pretty nice and smooth, even though it's an 80 grit, you know, and it needs to be better. But I don't know if I'm going to go too much lower. I might just, at first, I'm going to take some scrap pieces and try a couple different colors to see how it reacts to the weathered wood with the sanding. Like, I do like the grains in here, but you can feel the grooves from the weathering, right? So that could be either good or bad. But the ones that have some nice grains, I'll probably put some stains on. Like here, this doesn't have much of a grain. It has a little bit of a grain. But stuff like that, I might do like white. You know, like a weathered white, almost like a whitewash. But I do have a few that have some nice grains on it. Like at the bottom here. This one, you can tell it's beveled. It goes up here and it goes up here, but not in the middle. So you don't get, you got some of the sanding, but not all the sanding. So my dog is a little happy. But yeah, I'll have to determine which ones get what colors. Now, one thing you can see, it's pretty prominent in the video. It's not as more prominent in the video than it is in person. Is see these lines, because it's just almost like a wear, and then the bumps here. So I might try to get that down a little bit, so because I don't like those lines in there, because if I put any stain on there, it'll probably even pop out even more. So I try to get the lines. You can see all these lines in here, and you can feel it. And that's better than it was just with the electric sander, but still not enough. I want to get the lines. I don't mind if it's like this, beveled here, down here, but I don't really care for the lines. Unless I'm going to paint them, then I don't want them. So once I decide which ones are going to get painted, which ones will get stained, then I can decide if I need to sand more or not. So let me do some test pieces first on how I'm going to color this, and we'll come back. Okay, I'm going to give you a little bit of update here. I've been putting some stain and some colors on some scrap pieces of wood. So what I've been doing, so this one here would be your special walnut. And then what I've been doing is taking like a 220 grit sandpaper, and once it's dry, lightly sand it up so the grain comes out a little bit. Here's your black wood grain, your black stain. The golden oak hasn't dried yet, and the cherry hasn't dried yet. So I figured I wanted to kind of do a bunch of different colors on them. So I'm waiting for those to dry. Then I did a white, just like a white chalk paint, and then I sanded it to kind of get the wood come through. The thing we're trying to, because we're going to do a few boards of red as accent colors. So this one here, what I did is I painted it black. Then once that dried, I put a couple lines of wax, candle wax on. And if you want to see videos of somebody doing this with the candle wax and stuff like that, you can go check out YouTube channel Upcycle Life. She does it quite often. She's got a good channel there. So what you would do is just take your normal candle, and once your first layer dries, just make a couple lines wherever, in a couple spots, and then put your second coat of paint on. Now you can do multiple coats. Like if you on her channel, you'll do like 3 or 4 coats. So you wait until that coat dries, and then you do the wax again in a couple different spots, and then another color. And then once you put all your coats on, you heat it up with either a heat gun or a nice hot hair dryer, and it heats up the wax underneath the paint, and then you can take a scraper and scrape it off. So what I did here is that you can see I took my scraper and scraped some of the black off, And this one actually went right down the wood. It's not a big deal. It's supposed to look like that anyways, weathered. But I also wanted to see what it would look like sanded a little bit so the black shines through, so you can see some of this grain here. When I sanded it to 220, if the grain came through, because we're trying to decide how we want the accent color to pop. We don't want it to be too red. So this one here, what I did is I just painted red on the wood, and then I sanded it off. So you can just see the wood grains underneath. Now this one here, I'm waiting to dry. What I did is the opposite of this one. I put red on first, and then put a couple pieces, little stripes of candle wax on it. Once this black dries, I'm going to heat that up and then scrape that off to see how that looks. Now I put some tape just in a couple random spots, just on small boards, because they're just supposed to be little accent pieces, so I don't want something like, I think this one right now, I like this one better than this one, but it's whatever the wife wants, right? So I think it's better if it's just on small boards. So I picked 3 random small boards there to put them on. And once we figure out what's the best version of the red, we'll put it on there. So I'm going to wait until these other pieces dry and check them out, and then I'll come back. Okay, so I sanded the rest of them down. The oak I don't mind. Cherry wood, the jury's still out, because I don't know, maybe just the piece that it was on was kind of crappy. Now the red underneath the black, I did do it with the wax, and I scraped it, and it didn't look that great, and so I sanded it. It looked better, but it still doesn't look proper for this type of project. It actually looks kind of Halloween-y, or not like something that would go on a wood wall or low. But I guess it's each person's preference. But both my wife and I picked this one as the best one, even over this one. I think the darkness of the black underneath helps it. It doesn't make it too red. You know what I mean? So even though it's only going to go on small pieces, I think we're going to go with this one. Okay, so I'm going to start finishing the sanding and then get some of the paint and stain on here. Okay, so I'm going to give you an update. So, as you can see, I didn't want too much of the red, right? So I just want them as accent colors here. So I only got 3 of them there. So I used some oak stain, walnut stain, black stain, cherry wood stain, and even some of them I just left without any stain, and I'll just clear coat right over it. And then I did the white, obviously you can see the white, and then sanded off the white to see the wood behind, because I didn't want it too bright, right? Because the rest of the colors aren't bright, even the red's not bright, so I didn't want the white to be too bright. It does stand out, but once I put the letters on there, I'm thinking it probably won't be as bright, and it won't pop as much. So I just gotta do the border. I've decided on doing the black stain border, so I'm going to do the border, and after that I will start clear coating. So one thing, if you're going to do this, I recommend, this is the first time I've done this. I already got a couple orders by people seeing my TikTok on it already, but is once you get it all placed in, you get where all the boards are going to be, kind of try to determine what stain, what color is going where, maybe label them and then remove them before, because what the pain was is I didn't want the paint to bleed over into the next one. So I had to tape them off. So taping them off and then sanding it, because if I would have took the tape off and then sanded it, then the red would have bled in, the sanding dust or whatever would have bled into there as well. So next time, for the next one, I'm going to I'll place all the boards in the frame, and then I'll label and number them or something like that, and then stain them before I glue it and nail it onto the board. Lesson learned, but still turned out pretty good. Like how it turned out, and I just kind of did randomly try to just randomly pick some colors in certain spots. So let me go and do the border, and then we'll come back. Okay, so I got a couple of coats of polyurethane on that now, as you can see how shiny that is. And I actually, if you notice, from before, when I was talking before I put the polyurethane on there, I flipped it 180 degrees, because I was just kind of sanding and getting prepping it, and I was flipping it around, and I'm like, I think it looks better this way than the opposite way. You can see, because that red over there was down over near here. So both my wife and I like this version better. So also it helped me put the wording, because it's black lettering, so I don't want to put it on the black. I want to try to avoid the black if I can. So I'll put some of the letters over here, and then the big section of letter, the gather word, is going to be here, and then I'll put the other letters back down there. So let me pull out that wording, and so you can see it. It's rolled up, so I'll have to kind of try to flatten it out there so you can kind of see it, and then we'll see what we have to do to transfer it on here. Okay, so we'll be right back. Okay, so lettering's all on, as you can see. So I ordered this on Amazon. It took a while to get here, but if you have a Cricut machine, obviously you can make it yourself, or if you know anybody with a Cricut machine, you can make it yourself. I think next time I'll probably just try to do that instead of ordering it from Amazon, because it came from China and took quite a while to get here. But what you'll do is, it's almost like a transfer tape method here, where the sticker is on a piece of paper. You peel the yellow piece off, and you stick the lettering onto this. Use kind of like a credit card or a scraper or something to scrape it off, and it comes out off on this. And then you stick this on to the wood, and then use that scraper again to make sure it sticks to the wood, and carefully peel it off. Now, the hardest part was making sure, like, because some of it's a little bit uneven. There's, right, where the woods are different thicknesses and stuff like that. So I had to be very careful, but it turned out really good. And then I'm putting a couple coats of clear polyurethane over top of even the lettering, just so it doesn't come off over time. You know what I mean? I just want it on there. So I think it turned out really good, even better than I expected. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below. Hit that like and subscribe button. Hit that bell to be notified when I post another video. And we'll talk to you later.